Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
Did you? Yeah, I heard you singing it. I think, no, I heard you humming, and I figured that's what you were singing. I always forget to put my microphone on first, people, and it's not intentional. It is not a part of the show. Welcome, everybody. We got 245 people so far. Super fire. I'm always excited anytime you all want to kick it with me. Well, Nine Tails is Antifa. Truth is, I finally got me a shirt that fits. So I don't think I've lost any more weight. I have just finally got out of the house and went to one of those stores that would do curbside pickup, because I'm not going in anybody's store, especially when I see people walking around without a without a mask. So wow, 79 people, dope. So I finally got some shirts that fit. So thank you, though. Thank you. I appreciate it. Everyone, let's take a second and share. I have always been more than happy to talk politics to 5 people, but I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm actually psyched by the fact that we have 1,000 people in here hanging out with us already. So take a minute and click the like button on whatever you're watching me on. Click the like button, and also click the share button. We have 154 people on YouTube so far. Earlier today, we had 1,000 people on YouTube alone, which is bananas. So I think the trick is to click the like button, and that pushes it up in the algorithm. We're going to talk about Donald Trump's video. I honestly am curious. Something about that video made me feel like he is playing a game with us. I don't like to delve into conspiracy theories because it's so easy, and to a certain degree, we're all susceptible to falling down that rabbit hole of conspiracy theories. That said, it was something about it that just rang disingenuous to me. It really did. So I'm curious what you think. Did anyone else feel like he was putting on, like he's not really sick? Dimitri says he's going for the sympathy vote. I don't like, I promise you this. It's going to be the rarest of occasions where I deviate into something that could be considered conspiracy. That's my guarantee. Anybody who's been watching me for the last 5 years, I'm allergic to conspiracies. I break out into hives. So I don't want to delve into this too much, but I am curious what you think. Did you feel like that? Tell you what, the best thing I can do is play the video for you. I'm going to play the video, and Medusa said that their biggest mistake was voting for Trump in 2016. We all make mistakes. So I'm going to pull up the video, and I want you to watch it with me, and then we'll discuss it. Give me a second while I pull it up. And I just want you to just feel the vibe. Right? Sometimes I ignore my gut because my gut says something that can feel like a conspiracy theory or even sound like it. Sometimes I ignore it, and then my gut was right. The flip side is they're so arrogant with this. They are so arrogant with this coronavirus. It seems only just for this to be real. All right, that's it. Let me go to his Twitter timeline. Because it's on his Twitter timeline, and I'm going to play it directly from my iPhone. Uh, let's see, where am I looking? I am looking to make sure I have my audio up on that, on the iPhone. It's on? Okay, let's
For
go.
the incredible job they've been doing. I came here, wasn't feeling so well. I feel much better now. We're working hard to get me all the way back. I have to be back because we still have to make America great again. We've done an awfully good job of that, but we still have steps to go and we have to finish that job. And I'll be back. I think I'll be back soon. And I look forward to finishing up the campaign the way it was started and the way we've been doing and the kind of numbers that we've been doing. We've been so proud of it. But this was something that happened, and it's happened to millions of people all over the world, and I'm fighting for them, not just in the U.S. I'm fighting for them all over the world. We're going to beat this coronavirus, or whatever you want to call it, and we're going to beat it soundly. So many things have happened. If you look at the therapeutics, which I'm taking right now, some of them, and others are coming out soon that are looking like, frankly, they're miracles. If you want to know the truth, they're miracles. People criticize me when I say that, but we have things happening that look like they're miracles coming down from God. So I just want to tell you that I'm starting to feel good. You don't know over the next period of a few days. I guess that's the real test. So we'll be seeing what happens over those next couple of days. I just want to be so thankful for all of the support I've seen, whether it's on television or reading about it. I most of all appreciate what's been said by the American people, by almost a bipartisan consensus of American people. It's a beautiful thing to see, and I very much appreciate it, and I won't forget it. I promise you that. I also want to thank the leaders of the world for their condolences, and they know what we're going through. They know what, as your leader, what I have to go through. But I had no choice because I just didn't want to stay in the White House. I was given that alternative. Stay in the White House, lock yourself in, don't ever leave, don't even go to the Oval Office. Just stay upstairs and enjoy it. Don't see people, don't talk to people, and just be done with it. And I can't do that. I had to be out front, and this is America. This is the United States. This is the greatest country in the world. This is the most powerful country in the world. I can't be locked up in a room upstairs and totally safe and just say, hey, whatever happens, happens. I can't do that. We have to confront problems. As a leader, you have to confront problems. There's never been a great leader that would have done that. So that's where it is. I'm doing well. I want to thank everybody. Our First Lady is doing very well. Melania asked me to say something as to the respect that she has for our country, the love that she has for our country. And we're both doing well. Melania is really handling it very nicely. As you've probably read, she's slightly younger than me, just a little tiny bit. And therefore, just we know the disease, we know the situation with age versus younger people. And Melania is handling it statistically like it's supposed to be handled. And that makes me very happy, and it makes the country very happy. But I'm also doing well, and I think we're going to have a very good result. Again, over the next few days, we're going to probably know for sure. So I just want to thank everybody out there, everybody, all over the world, specifically the United States. The outpouring of love has been incredible. I will never forget. Thank you very much.
Second, let me get my mic unmuted. Okay, sorry about the echo at the beginning. That was me. That was my microphone echoing in the system, but I think we cleared that up. I want to compare that
Walter Reed Hospital.
I want to compare it to the short video that he put out Thursday or yesterday, not Thursday. It was yesterday. All right, so let me pull up this second video and put me in the corner. Hang on, no, you get up there. Get over there, and I'll get off the screen. All right, and listen to this one.
I want to thank everybody for the tremendous support. I'm going to Walter Reed Hospital. I think I'm doing very well, but we're going to make sure that things work out. The First Lady is doing very well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you. I want to thank
Now, the reason I played that one is because in that video, let me get me back up and get him down. In that video, he actually does seem very sick to me. In the first video, I felt like all he did was take his makeup off and left his hair frazzled and took off a tie. And the reason I'm suspicious is there's an article from the New York Post that transcribed a conversation between he and Rudy Giuliani. And in that conversation, it seemed as though his intention was to use his sickness as a way to show Americans that this is not that bad. Now, I think he's a sociopath enough to actually do that, to actually pretend as though I think that's the problem. It is, yeah, I saw that too, Kata. Kata says, condolences. Not yet, Donald, not yet. Sorry, folks. But I think he's a sociopath enough to fake it, and then he will come out of it miraculously, and he will give credit to God when he probably, whatever. I don't think that man can step foot in the church without spontaneously combusting. But then the real application is he will make the case that all Americans should be willing to brave this. Because the ultimate goal of the Republican Party and the ruling elite in general, across parties, the ruling elite, their goal is to not shut down at all, which means, quote unquote, herd immunity, which means upwards of 1 million people dying. Donald Trump said as much in terms, he called it herd mentality, because he couldn't say herd immunity. So he said herd mentality. And it's laughable because he thinks he could say herd mentality and we not clearly understand that to be what it is, which is herd immunity, which means we could lose at least 1 million people to this. So I think he's a sociopath enough to do that. I wouldn't put it past them. I'm almost at the point where if I won't believe him unless he doesn't make it. I'll believe him if he doesn't make it. Because this could be the ultimate sympathy vote. And I wouldn't put it past them. This could be the ultimate way to get herd immunity by saying the president went through it. And I think all Americans should be willing to be as brave as our president. You can hear them on the news stations now. You can hear them on cable news right now saying that. I believe that it could be that. On the flip side, let me move off the edges of conspiracy, because I really hate that idea. I hate the idea of, because to me, it's just as logical for them to be so arrogant in their hubris that they would. And actually, I'm sorry, it's not just their arrogance. It's not just the logical conclusion that their arrogance would lead them to contract COVID, but it's the video from Amy Coney Barrett's nomination ceremony, right? The way that Kellyanne Conway was just all in people's faces, and nobody had on masks, and everybody was side by side. So setting the conspiracy aside, like, it really is, they are asking for it. So I kind of believe that he does have it because he was asking for it. They were asking for it. It's the height of absurdity. It is extreme. Like, their arrogance is so bold. Their arrogance is so bold to me that it's like they literally were asking for it. And it would only be just for it to have happened. Reverend Donna Gilbert on YouTube said, I really think he may be partially sick, but he's definitely exaggerating this. Plus, he has to get the report is to talk about what's going on with him so they'll quote unquote like him. Another super chat on YouTube. from Anna says, honestly, his voice sounded hoarse to me. He is going to make everyone think he can beat it so he doesn't look weak. Those are really, I mean, that's plausible. That is definitely plausible. Let me get some chats from all these other platforms. We have right now on Facebook, we have 1,400 people on Facebook. Oh, damn, Facebook. Y'all are not playing. And I haven't even shared it yet on Facebook. Real quick, one more super chat on YouTube. Stella Vision said lots of people around him have tested positive. Right. So it's reasonable. It's plausible. It's just I really do believe that they are sociopaths enough to do that. My high school friend, my classmate, Bakita, well, Bakita, but you know, good to see you. I appreciate you. Listen, and while I share this, I want to say something. Can we just go on a quick sidebar, just a real quick sidebar, and we're going to get back to Donald Trump. I really want to thank you all for hanging out with me. I don't take it for granted. Like the fact that we have 2,500 people across all these platforms who are sharing this time you coming here to hear me talk, right? So all I'm doing is I'm literally sitting here, and some nights I got coffee, some nights I have tea, some nights I have some wine, and I'm just talking politics, and that means a lot. I don't take it for granted, and I understand how meaningful it is. Right. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, right? For you to be here hanging out with me almost every night. That's a significant thing. So as much as you guys thank me, I want to thank you. Thank you for sharing this with me. So let's get a quick poll just by all I want you to do is say yes or no. No. Even better. Let's do sick or not. Just 2 words. Put in sick or not. If you believe he's sick, say sick. And if you don't believe he's sick, say not. And I want to see what the audience is saying. Do you think that he's actually sick, or is he playing us? And then I will try to get a rough estimate of what everyone is thinking. And actually, you can see it for yourself. You'll be able to see it across your platforms who's saying what. So sick or not? Let's see. We got a lot of sick. I got 1 not so far. Sick. Okay. 2 nots. 3 nots. EJ, home team. I see you, fam. You think he's sick? I got 4 nots. Overwhelmingly, everyone thinks he's sick. Okay. I can dig it. Majority rules in our community, so we're gonna go with sick. Thomas Stephanie says that she loves talking politics and nice people. Well, thank you. I do my best to be kind. Thing is, the funny thing is that there's so many people who know me better as an asshole and as a mean-spirited dick. So it's funny. I'm so glad that you think I'm kind and nice. So I'm going to do my best to maintain that image. But my motto is, when you can be kind, be kind. When you can't, take no prisoners. And there's some people who've been on the opposite side of that. Oh, wait a minute. Here comes some knots. There's some, I quit it. I stopped too soon. I've got a whole contingency of knots. Not. And somebody play it. Joyanne, I'm gonna block and report you, Joyanne. Sick knot. Which is it? Sick or not? Playing with our emotions. Not. There are a lot of knots. Hold on. I got off the subject too quick. Not. One more person. We'll change subject in 1 second. I got to put this on the board. Tenula said he's sick-ish. Good answer. Good answer. And Tiger Lily 48 says, I don't know. Says, who knows? We'll see. So there you go. There you have it. Thing is, wow, we have 2,750 people. Thank you all so much. Again, click that like button, especially if you're on Facebook and YouTube. The like button absolutely helps us to devastate the algorithms, and we'll get more people in the room. We have 1,000 people on YouTube. YouTube, what is up? YouTube, can we get 600 likes? We have 1,000 people watching. I imagine at least 600 of you are willing to hit the like button. See, I will never sit here and ask you for money, but I will ask you for some likes. So go ahead and hit that like button. And I think maybe I'm lying, because I probably will ask you to become a patron or something like that. But you know, I'm not going to be here raising offerings or nothing foolish like that. But hit that like button. That's a good way to help out everything. Let's shift gears real quick. We got a lot of super chats, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to read all of the super chats as well as what's going on with all the subs over on, is that Tanya Powell? Is that Tanya Powell from, oh, that's Tony Powell. Tony Powell. Okay. I will agree with this. I want to put Karina's comment. Looking at his video, yeah, he's struggling to breathe. He wasn't his normal self. I will say that even on the video, the most recent video, it does look like he's struggling to breathe. But here's the thing. Here's the bigger picture. Not the bigger picture that I want to talk to you about tonight, but the bigger picture in terms of Donald Trump. Here's the problem, is that it's entirely plausible that he could be lying to us on this big of a scale, right? It's entirely plausible that he could be lying to us on this scale. Now, Luna, this kind of, I don't know Twitch enough to understand what this is. Twitch is 90-10 sick. Can you help me understand what that means? Is that good sick? Is that, and what is the 90-10? I'm still new to Twitch and I'm still trying to figure it out. The problem is that he absolutely does lie like this. There's a movie coming out. Maybe I'll play the trailer for you. There's a documentary coming out that goes into the level of deception and irresponsibility of Donald Trump as it pertains to COVID-19. Matter of fact, I do want to play the trailer for you because like I said in the video I put out earlier today, I don't know these people. Nobody's paying me to share this video with you. Matter of fact, I sent an email to get permission to share it. They haven't replied yet, so I don't even know if I'm allowed to share it. Totally under control. Let me find that file. Totally. Oh, did I not? Hang on, maybe I deleted it. But it's a documentary coming up this month called Totally Under Control. And in that documentary, they talk to scientists. And the scientists, these are high-level government scientists, many of whom have lost their job. They've lost their jobs because they dare to speak out about the negligence of Donald Trump and how his negligence absolutely has threatened the lives or led to the lives and the deaths, rather, of 200,000 people. So I'm going to mute myself really quick so it doesn't feedback. And let's take a look at this video from Totally Under Control from these folks at Neon. And let me mute myself.
But leadership would not do it. It is time to lay our careers on the line and push back.
It's clear the United States did not perform to the best of its ability with the coronavirus.
What went wrong for us?
The truth is that political leaders caused avoidable death and destruction.
The scientists sounded the alarm every day. The U.S. government was doing nothing.
One day it's like a miracle, it will disappear. It'll be wonderful, it'll be a gift from heaven.
It's complete bullshit. He has no idea what he's talking about.
I decided to break protocol and alert Americans.
A key government scientist was removed because he wouldn't climb on the president's bandwagon.
They started to blame other people, and it was frightening. There was real fear of retribution, and we were watching the number of deaths in the U.S. tick higher and higher.
Do you take responsibility?
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
We've never had a failure like this.
The truth is finally coming out.
There's so much to expose.
We have it totally under control.
Again, like I said, I don't know these folks, and I would never play like a advertisement to you without saying, hey folks, these people are paying me some good money to share. I would tell you straight out. But I saw that come across my Twitter timeline today, and I was like completely floored. Make sure my mic is on. Yeah, it's on. Looks like it's frozen. Why does my microphone look like it's frozen? Can you guys hear me? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you guys hear me okay? I still see your comments, so I'm going to assume that you can hear me okay. But I still need to see somebody say that it's okay. Somebody say it's okay in the chat room that you can hear me. I feel like I'm a ghost and you guys are having a conversation with me. And anyway, I'm going to talk like you can hear me. Okay. So it came across my Twitter timeline this morning and it really was powerful. It really was powerful. And it made me instantly, it was something that, okay, good. It's a little delay. So we know these things. I think anybody reasonable already knew that this was happening, but that doesn't take away from the impact of having this documentary. This documentary, to me, says that the scientists were not complicit, or even they were willing to lose their jobs. They were willing to lose their jobs in order to just tell the truth. And that's meaningful. That is substantive. That is not something that you get every day. And it's something that you absolutely need. Like, these scientists are willing to lose their entire livelihood in order to tell the truth. And that tells me that that we absolutely could have saved more people. We absolutely could have saved more people because the scientists were willing to do whatever was necessary. But our politics stopped it. Our politics stopped it. And it's a terrifying thing to think that our politics can get in the way of saving lives. So much so that scientists have to quit their jobs and do a documentary in order to show us exactly what happened in this year of 2020 and COVID-19. The fact that politicians, I got a drink on this one. The fact that politicians have the ability to circumvent the scientific community for political purposes, and the end result is 200,000 deaths, coupled with the fact that that political power is still in power. See, in any fiction novel that was being written about this, we would be reading, and the entire time we would be expecting for the people to rise up. And the fact that not only are politicians able to circumvent science to the extent where we end up losing 200,000 people, but the fact that that political structure is still in power is absurd. It is completely asinine. which shows you that our politics is more important. Hear me out. This is going to sound wrong, but I'm trying to make a bigger point. So don't cut off the stream when I say this. Our politics, one more caveat. I want to say this right. I'm really into not saying things wrong. The impact of our politics shows us that politics in America is more important than science. And I hope you can understand why I wanted to take my time with that, because politics should never be more important than science. But the way our society is ordered, it is. And it is so much more important, has so much more power than our scientists, that it allows politics to trump, pun intended, not intended, but it's a good one, to trump our scientists, to the point where we lose 200,000 people. 200,000 people. That is completely asinine. And the fact that our political structure is still intact shows you the stranglehold that politics has on our civilization. Not just America, and not even just our civilization, but our species, humanity. Politics has a stranglehold on humanity, and it gives them the ability to destroy us, even if we know exactly what to do to save us. See climate change. We know what needs to be done to save us, but we don't have the political will to do it. Not only to save us from COVID-19, but to save us from climate disaster. And that should terrify us, not just in the sense of Donald Trump, but the next Donald Trump, and the Donald Trump who comes after that, and the Donald Trump who comes in 100 years and leads to the death of 1 million people. Or even worse, the Donald Trump that comes at some critical juncture in human history such that they lead to the destruction of our entire planet. Because we have ordered our society. We have ordered our society where politics trumps science. And that is not only dangerous, but it is deadly. And in 2020, it's deadly to the tune of 205,000 Americans. Let me read a couple of comments. So if anyone's wondering, right, there is a huge delay in when your comments come up, because something went wrong in my system when I played that last video. So I'm only getting, just so you know, I'm only getting the comments now that where you told me that you could hear my microphone. So that could kind of tell you why that there's a huge delay. But I'm going to jump into my producer's chat so that I can get all the shout outs. That way I can backtrack and get all of the super chats that I may have missed. I want to get all the super chats that I missed, and I want to get all of the people who are giving me shout outs or subscribing on Twitch. I want to get your comments in there because you guys are a critical part. Rayla's mom on YouTube said, his voice is hoarse, but he's such a sociopath. I don't believe anything. Chris Christie is in the hospital now. He was a coach along with Rudy for the debate, Rudy Giuliani. I wonder if Giuliani is positive. All three of these men have health risks. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's terrifying to think that they would put themselves in that kind of... I have anxiety dreams right now about being in public without people wearing masks and without me wearing masks. So to think that they put themselves, knowing that they're in those risk factors and they put themselves in harm's way, absolutely terrifying. Sherman Ferguson, thank you so much for that super chat. I really appreciate it. Bolo Turner says, love your content, Ben. Been following you for years. Glad to see you consistently putting up videos now. What camera are you using? Pristine quality. Well, so many people want to know what kind of camera I'm using. I'm going to do a full video breaking down my entire setup from the camera to the interface to the microphone. And it's an intermediate pricing. You know, you could get this whole look for, I'll do a video. I'll do a video for those who are interested. Let me give a shout out to the people on Twitch. Thank you for subscribing. I Am Tam has subscribed with Prime. Rang has subscribed with Prime. Lynn, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Jazzy Joseph gifted a tier 1 sub to Emily Blackwelder. Thank you so much for gifting that sub. Bethany Madison subscribed for 1 month for tier 1. And Texton has cheered. There we go. We've been missing the cheers. Thank you for 100 bits. I don't know the conversion rate on Twitch, but thank you for the cheers, Texton. Bad Rongo, thank you for the cheers. You also cheered for 100 bits. Again, I don't know the conversion rate, but I appreciate it, whatever it is. Let's go to our regular chat room. Let me see if these chats have caught up at all. Yeah, it's wild. The chats over here are, so I'm not, you know what? I'm not going to look at the chat in my system. My system has kind of crashed. So what I'm going to do an old school. I'm going to jump back and forth between Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and just kind of peruse the conversations there. And we'll go from there. Let's see. We see in YouTube. Joshua Collins wants to know about the video. Rewind it back a little bit. You'll be able to see the video you're watching live on YouTube. Thankfully, YouTube has a pretty good DVR system. You can rewind it back. It's coming out October 13th. The name of the film is Totally Under Control. It's by Neon Films, and it's coming out October 13th. It's coming out on Hulu, but there's a petition going around to see if they can put it out on other platforms because of how important that video is. And I definitely think they need to do that because no one should have to get a subscription just to do that, in my opinion. I think their work is a little too, it's funny. Their work has crossed the threshold where it needs to be consumed for free. It's weird how that happens, but it definitely happens. Let me jump over to Facebook to get some of the chats over here. Thank you, Kim Nall, for sharing. There's a link. I'm going to copy the link here from Facebook, and I'm going to drop it over here on YouTube. Here is the link on YouTube that you can use to go get. Oh, I got to take off the query string. The query string makes it entirely too long. All right, so I'm gonna leave that to my producers. Producers, if you would grab the link from Facebook and trim it down so that we can share it on Facebook, on YouTube. Let me jump over to Twitch and let me see if my system has caught up. Yeah, I agree, Nora. Everybody needs to see it, because here's the thing. Again, one thing that irritates me are when people say stuff like, "We already knew this." Oh, you had our, yeah, like we didn't already know. Yeah, we did already know it, but to hear it and hear it presented, it needed to be documented. It's one thing for us to all know intuitively that Donald Trump interfered with our science such that it led to the deaths of 200,000 people. It's another thing to have it documented and then for people to see it, because the future generations really need to understand what happened here, right? We had a death total of 600,000 in the not swine flu, but in the Spanish flu. 600,000. We're already at 200,000. The Spanish flu, if I'm not mistaken, lasted about a total of 2 to 3 years with multiple waves. And in those multiple waves, they got ultimately 600,000 people who died. We're still technically, folks, I know people like to call this a second wave, but there's the interval, the time frame. We're literally in the time frame of the first wave, and we've already lost 200,000 people. So it needed to be documented in a very significant fashion how this happened when we have the technology and we have the communication skill capacity. See, if you think about 1918, the Spanish flu, for some reason I'm thinking it's not the Spanish flu, but it is the Spanish flu. My mind is playing games with me. Think about how they had to get information out. By the time a newspaper got to, and the news got to a city, the pandemic was already there. Pandemic travels faster than the newspaper, right? We had the ability to get the word out in November and December and take action in January so that we killed it before it killed any significant number of people. We can move at the speed of light in terms of decision making and disseminating that information. There's literally no impediment to our survival of COVID-19 other than the ridiculousness of our politics. And it is because of the ridiculousness of our politics that we have lost 200,000 people, particularly the politics of Donald Trump. So it's so critical that this was documented above anything else. Durableek said, yeah, I'm going to need to watch that even though I know it's going to infuriate me. Sherry Conklin said, yeah, I've been saying this and no one listens. Yeah, it's wild. It is so damning. It is so damning and it's such an indictment. It is an indictment of the potential of humanity to destroy ourselves. More than anything else, it is an indictment of our ability to destroy ourselves. We have a great capacity. We have an unimaginable capacity to destroy ourselves because of our politics. As advanced as we are with our science, our politics are primitive. We are not even as advanced as we could be because our politics are primitive. Every step that we take forward, it's only despite our politics. And it's because, not just politics, not just because of the nature of our politics, but it's because of human nature and how easily our current politics, or probably politics of any generation, to be quite fair to our generation, politics can prey on the primitive nature of our humanity. So long as they can appeal to our bigotry, they can shackle us. They can shackle us with our politics. So long as someone can appeal to our greed, they can shackle us with our politics. So long as they can appeal to us or incite or stir up our fear, they can shackle us with our politics. Look at where we could be if it had not been for the childishness and deadliness of our politics. There's something I wrote in a book, and I can't find the book. I wrote it in the margins of a book, like I actually wrote it in a book. I didn't write that book. And it just hit me. It was like our political science might be the most challenging and the most important science out there, period. Not because it's a hard science, not because, in terms of math, physics, chemistry, but it's not a hard, it's a soft science. It's more in the arts field. So not because it's a hard science but rather a difficult science. It is a science that limits everything that we do. The constraints on the scientific community from saving us from COVID-19 was political. The constraints that are on us from saving us from climate disaster is political. So in that margin of the book, I wrote, and I got to find the book so I can remember exactly how I phrased it, but I wrote in there that it very well may be more difficult for us to overcome the pettiness of our politics than it is to overcome the barrier of the speed of light. As impossible as it is for us to go faster than the speed of light, it may be even more impossible for us to overcome the pettiness of our politics. And we are living in that exact problem right now. Right now, this moment, there could be at least 175,000 people still alive today. And that's lowballing. But let's spot Donald Trump 30,000 people. Let's spot him that much because H1N1, we lost 14,000 people. So with a novel coronavirus, it's plausible and pretty reasonable to say that we would have lost at least 30,000 people. 175,000 people who would be alive today if not for our politics. Now, you tell me how difficult it is for us to overcome our politics. Maybe that overcoming politics would be like trying to overcome gravity, overcome the density of the impossibility of escaping a black hole because it appeals to the darkest part of our nature. So long as they can appeal to our bigotry, our fear, and our greed, they can amass power. So how do we break free from this crushing weight of our ignorance? How do we break free when somebody like Donald Trump can ascend to the most powerful office in the land based purely on fear, greed, bigotry, and ignorance? In the year of our Lord 2020, when we were supposed to have hoverboards, we got Donald Trump.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
Hey, Chris, over on YouTube. Let me scroll up. Let me see if my looks like it may have come out. It may have caught up. Here's a super chat from Rayla's mom saying, I'm 62. I grew up with pre-Roe and Title IX. Women will lose reproductive rights if Barrett is confirmed. That's politic trumping science, literally. Literally. It is politics, but I have to throw in religion. As a spiritual person as I am, as much as when COVID-19 is over, I'm gonna be running around the church. Y'all gonna be like, Ben is a fool. I mean, I love going to church. I love the community of it. I love my particular church. I love the music. I used to be a musician in church. So as much as I am that person, I absolutely know that it's politics coupled with religiosity that is the ultimate change on our society. And it's because politics preying on the fears of religious people instead of inspiring the hopefulness that's in religious people and all people. But because politicians know that they could play and prey on the fears of the religious, the two biggest impediments to our progress as human beings, number one is our politics, and number two is the interplay of our politics with religion. Let me see if I can catch up with these chats. I'm not, okay, come on, man. Jeff, I am most certainly, this is, matter of fact, it's a vegan wine, and I promise you, I am so far from drunk. It's wine. Come on, man. I'm still a big dude. I know I lost a pound or two, but I'm a big dude. It takes a high alcohol percentage to get me to get me drunk. Let's read some more comments. I'm warming up. I know we probably an hour in. We're 49 minutes in. I think my best stuff comes at the end. Anybody who makes it to the end of this hour and a half, I think my best stuff actually comes at the end. Brenda Joyce Williams says, Trump for mass murder. Absolutely, man. Period, poo. Period. Y'all be glad I ain't got my Hennessy out here. I'm not going to put that one, TPC trees. I'm not putting that one on the screen. My wife's in the other room. I'm not, but I would just would acknowledge that I see it and thank you. Oh, that's my, hang on. You can't come in here like, if I know you, I'm going to tell you I know you. Melody is my sister. Jesus Christ made wine, Ben. You're fine. Thank you, sis. Let's see. I want to come in. I want to respond to you all's comments, and because I can talk all day. Where are we at on YouTube? On YouTube, we have 1,364 people watching. Y'all are killing it on YouTube. Click that like button. We have 1,000 likes. That's bananas, YouTube. And you know I'm about to ask for more. Let's get it up to 1,300 likes. I might be asking for too much, but I thank you. We have 800 on Facebook. Facebook, what happened? I guess, you know what? The thing is Facebook is more raw politics. If you want to know where like the blood sport of politics is, it's on Facebook. See, I could, on YouTube, I probably could honestly talk to you guys about what I really want to talk about, which is like, y'all ready? How does humanity survive the end of the universe? I could probably talk about that on YouTube for hours and people would watch it. Because YouTube is flexible. You could talk about any number of things on, but Facebook, if you're not talking that hardcore politics stuff, man, that's why I got 1,400 people on YouTube and 740. I just lost 50 just then. All right, let's get to the next story. No, I didn't. Infinite Content just updated me. There is a shelter-in-place order placed at Walter Reed because a suspicious package was left there. I'm going to jump on Twitter because that's where I get my fastest news. And I think my producer just sent me something about it. Let me check the messages. There is a MAGA crowd out. This is interesting. I'm not sure. Like, there is a huge Make America Great Again crowd outside of Walter Reed. So it could be any number of things that, thank you for sending that, Melody. My computer is just catching up. Now I'm getting messages in real time. But I did not hear about that, but we'll keep our eye on that to see what's going on. I want to read this comment, and actually I want to pull it on the screen. So I'm hoping that my comments are over here. Let's go down. Come on, guys. I want to get this comment from YouTube. It is a very important comment. Bear with me 1 second. There it is. Protiti Khan. Protiti Khan said, scientists here. I've worked previously in a virology lab. You have no idea how infuriating the American mishandling of the pandemic has been for me. You're right, I can't imagine. I can't imagine being a person who, while we did not have a vaccine for it, there are just standard operating procedures because this is not the first pandemic. This is not humanity's first time at the rodeo. And if we had just not allowed our politics to cripple us, to shackle us, throw the cripple away. I'm doing my best to get rid of ableist language, just out of respect for my friends. But to shackle us, if we had not allowed it to shackle us, sure, we would have lost some people. There's no doubt about that. But we absolutely did not have to lose 205,000 people. And we are so desensitized to that. We are so desensitized to that. Do we realize how many people that is? That is, if you're talking about an 80,000 seat arena, we're approaching filling up 3 arenas, professional football sized arenas. 3 Super Bowl crowds. You know how you look in the stadium and you're on the 50-yard line and you look the 360 view? I don't know if I used to be in the marching band, so I know what it is to be on the 50-yard line and look around 360 view and you can't see a single face, but you know their body's there. Now multiply that full stadium by 3. That's how many people we've lost because of the ridiculousness of our politics. I don't know that we can absorb that number. Can we, maybe we shouldn't absorb it. Thursday night, I tried to absorb the emotional reality of these people trying to send my siblings, my brothers and sisters, back to teach in the classroom. And honestly, like, as big as I have been and big as I am, I used to be 70 pounds heavier. I never had a blood pressure problem. One exception, when I was a school teacher. When I taught school, now that was the only time. But as soon as I stopped teaching school, I never had a blood pressure problem again. But when I tried to internalize the sheer sociopathy of them not caring about us so much that they would force students, teachers, staff, janitors, school bus drivers, custodians, just all of these people back into the absolute worst conditions for trying to maintain or contain a virus. That messed me up on Thursday night. That messed me up. I had literally had to go outside and stare at the moon like I'm a damn werewolf at 1 o'clock in the morning to just kind of recompose myself. And so maybe it is in our best interest not to be able to internalize the sheer horror of what 210,000 lives being dead really is. But I also think that's the reason they're able to continue to kill us. The reason they're able to continue to do these things is because in order to keep us from snapping, we turn off a certain portion of our sensibilities. Because if we were to internalize it, I don't think there's any way possible that this political system would still be standing, because the 330 million of us who are still alive and not complicit would have removed them from power a long time ago. I want to see if, let me go over the shout out. On YouTube, hey, do me a favor. I don't care where you are, if you're on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you are, do me a solid. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube account, everybody go to YouTube real quick and subscribe. Keep open the window you're in. I don't want you to leave the window that you're in. Open up a new window. Go over to YouTube and subscribe. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Nan Johnson subscribed on Twitch with Prime. Monique Ganem subscribed on Twitch with Prime. And Plestio Don subscribed at Tier 1 on Prime. Thank you all so much for doing that. Luna Diana wants to know if I'm going to talk about the Breonna tapes. I want to say something. My producers have prepared some of those tapes for me, and I'm still sorting through them, and I'm going to put it in the podcast on Monday. That gives you more time to address it in a much more structured fashion. And by Monday night, I will discuss all those tapes, or as many of the tapes as I can discuss on the stream on Monday night. Joshua Collins says COVID doesn't affect the lungs only. It affects the blood vessels. It hurts the brain, the lungs, the kidneys. Main symptom is pain and fatigue. Thank you so much for your super chat, everybody. Marva Jack says, he is running. See it to believe it. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. I'm certainly not running for office, so I don't think you're talking about that. And Donald Trump certainly isn't running anywhere, so I know you're not talking about that. So help me understand that. Yeah, let's do this. Teachers in the audience, in solidarity and love. Can everybody show some love? Teachers, identify yourself. Comment if you are a teacher wherever you are. And I want everybody in the chat room to show our teachers some love, and not just our teachers, essential workers. Now, if you've ever been to church, this is the part of the service where the pastor tells you to go and meet somebody, shake their hand and tell them that you love them and that God loves them too. This is very similar, but don't worry about that part. If you're a teacher, tell us you're a teacher. If you are an essential worker and you've already been out there, you've already been risking your life, put it in the comment section, and I want everybody to show them some love and some solidarity while I get the rest of these comments together. Teachers in the house, Christopher Prince. I see you, Chris. Esther teaches special education. Sherry's husband is an essential worker. We got a teacher all the way from Europe. It is well past your bedtime. No matter what part of Europe you're in, Maria, it is well past your bedtime. Let me stop. I don't know what your bedtime is. You could be educators in the house. We got a sub from ATG Coach. Thank you for subbing. Yeah, everybody give some love to our teachers and our essential workers. 5th grade teacher from North Carolina. I see you. Alexandra, I see you. Teachers in the house. Much love and respect. I even hate to bring this particular super chat on the screen, but we got to confront the reality. Ignoring the reality doesn't change the reality. Somebody just gave me the most up-to-date numbers. And my system is lagging a little bit. It's weird. It's expensive behind. Do me a favor, David, and put keep putting the super chats in the chat room, because my system froze up again. Over on Twitch, James Ramsey. Sorry about that. I know I messed that up. Sent a message saying, appreciate your content, comrade. Solidarity, man. You know what I appreciate? I appreciate my friends to the left of me respecting the fact that I don't really try to fit in any particular category. I'm not going to try to fit what I believe into something that could be neatly described as socialist, communist, Marxist, Lenin, any of that. And that bothers a lot of my friends on the left. But then I do have some friends to the left of me, way to the left of me, who respect that, and just, you take the good with the good and you leave the rest. So thank you, comrade. I appreciate it. Jamer said, mad love to all the essential workers. Raises for all. Raises for all. That's real. Tim Olaf with a super chat saying, thank you, teachers. Thank you, Tim. Nicole said, this is the one I didn't want to say, but we got to talk about it. Current number of COVID deaths in the United States is 209,864. That is 70 times the deaths from 9/11. We have had 70 9/11s. And we went to war, erroneously so, because of 9/11. And we're pretending, America's pretending like these 210,000 lives didn't matter. Kathleen Lackman, thank you so much for that super chat. Brenda J. Nelson, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, I love this. I asked my producer to give me a column where I can see all the troll comments, because sometimes they really do inspire me. Marty Lewis said, you are a Marxist. Well, I just kind of discussed that. I'm not really a Marxist. I don't really, if you ask my Marxist friends, they're going to call me a liberal, right? You ask my liberal friends, they're going to call me a socialist. You ask my conservative friends, they're going to call me a communist. So I don't really fit in any category. What I am, though, what I fight for and what I believe in, I'm going to say it over and over and over again until everybody in the audience can say it with me at the same time. What we fight for is right. It is just. It is good. It is noble. And it is worthy. We're fighting to make sure that every single human being on the face of this planet has the ability to not just survive, but thrive. And if that makes me a Marxist, then in your mind, Marxists are right. Because you know, let me tell you, this is what I was thinking about earlier. Even if you hate me, if you are in the stream just to hate on me, before I finish that, Dome Goddess Nikki, thank you for the super chat. Tim Olaf again, thank you for teachers. Michael Norris, another teacher. Hi Ben, but another teacher, but all the way in Australia. You're still a comrade, mate. I think you guys come here I think you like my philosophical musings, but you also come here for the dad jokes and the fact that I'm clearly a Disney dad kind of dude. And I'm a Disney dad that lives on the edge of taking up arms and being a key part in a real revolution. But what keeps me from doing that is the fact that I have like the most adorable kids in the world. And I want to do everything that I possibly can to maintain the stability that we currently have, the measure of stability that we currently have, because they deserve the chance to make a better world than I could. And so my last option is to destabilize what we have here in some type of glorious revolution. But don't mistake me for any second. Like the yin to my yang, my Disney dad is burn it all down. So maybe that troll is right. Maybe I am a Marxist. Anyway, for people who don't like me and continue to come back, babe, you out here? Okay, my wife is gone. Not that she won't see this. I'm gonna tell you like I told this woman I used to know. If you keep hanging out with me, we're gonna get in a relationship. Just if you keep coming back to this stream, I don't care how much you dislike me. You know what I'm saying is truth. You may hate the labels of the politics that you ascribe to me, but you keep coming back because you know what I'm saying is the truth. There is no reason in the world that when we generate this much wealth in our society, every single one of us, you who don't like me, you contribute to the creation of all of this obscene wealth, more wealth than we have seen in the history of mankind. All of us help create that. Jeff Bezos is not Jeff Bezos, whatever you want to call him. He is not him without every single one of you in this stream, without every single person on the face of this planet. And so if we collectively have the ability to create this obscene wealth, why do we allow there to be something called homelessness, poverty, hunger, lack of health care, not being able to go see a doctor because you don't have insurance? Why do we allow it? We allow it because our politics shackle us. Because there will always be greedy men and women and non-gender conforming individuals, quite frankly. Ambitious people whose path to to glory, their own personal self-aggrandizement, goes through appealing to the worst in human nature, appealing to the bigotry in human nature, appealing to the fear in human nature, appealing to the greed in human nature. There will always be those type of people. And so long as there are always those type of people, there will always be people who rise to the top of our systems by weaponizing the very worst in our society. That's why we can't look around us and see how magnificent of a level of wealth that we've created, that they would still, do you realize that we could solve the problem of homelessness and every billionaire would still be a billionaire? We can ensure that every single person has a doctor that they can go see and every single billionaire will still be a billionaire. We can make sure that every single individual has the best education and every billionaire would still be a billionaire. So why don't we do it? We don't do it for two reasons. We built an entire system off the very worst in human nature, greed. Greed is literally the worst in human nature. Bigotry can be overcome before greed can be overcome. And a lot of you fancy yourself to be Christians. The love of money is the root of all evil. That's what your book says. That's what my book says. But we pretend as if the rejection of greed is the root of all evil. You look at me as more evil than Jeff Bezos, whose greed led to 20,000 employees of Amazon contracting coronavirus, while he made multiple billions of dollars during the pandemic. He made it on the backs of those 20,000 employees who contracted coronavirus. We have erected an entire system that is rooted in the greed of mankind. And you look at me as if the Bible says the rejection of greed is the root of all evil. And you call yourself a Christian? Like I told that girl years ago, you keep hanging out here. You keep saying, she's kept saying she wanted to be my friend. I just want to be your friend, Ben. It's okay, cool, no problem. We be friends. Let's watch movies. Let's play video games. Let's do what friends do. But if you keep hanging out with me, you're going to know I'm telling the truth. Come on, some more. Super chats, infinite content. Hey man, infinite content. Those of you who give super chats on a regular basis, I'm gonna have to send y'all like a 1099 or something. Like I gotta get y'all a tax write-off or something. You guys are just consistently blessing the channel, and I really appreciate that. He says, I'm a pharmacy tech. If the pharmacy staff gets sick, do you all have any conceivable idea how much people will suffer if they can't get their meds? Yeah. No, I do. If some people in my family don't get their meds, it's a matter of life and death, right? But you got to consider like the risk that we're putting. I think the core of what he's saying is the risk that we're putting our essential workers in is putting our entire society at risk. We should be thoughtful enough of the individual essential worker to be concerned about their own well-being. I don't advocate for essential workers because I want the system to keep operating. I advocate for essential workers because they're human. They are people. They got people who love them, just like people love me. They've got children. They've got friends. So they are worthy of being advocated for beyond the role that they play in our society. But capitalism is so self-destructive that it has no regard for the fact that if our essential workers go down, the entire damn system goes down, you morons. Not you, the viewer, the capitalist. So it's so self-destructive, whereas I'm like, hey, I know you play a critical role in society, but you know what? Even if you didn't, you're a human being. All lives matter, my black ass. These people can't even see the significant role that this individual life plays in their own material success. Jeff Bezos can't pay attention to the fact that 20,000 of your employees go down with COVID-19. That is going to put a strain on your systems. You're not going to be able to hire people who can come in and replace them with the same efficiency of the current worker that is there. Sure, you can go get new employees, but the downtime is going to affect your profit margins. But he doesn't care about that because he's hitting the numbers that he wants, and he's made 30, 40, 50, $100 billion in the pandemic, but he can't see the forest for the trees, which is if you lose your workforce, you lose your long-term viability. Capitalism not only does not see your self-worth as a pharmacy tech. Strike that. I said that wrong. Capitalism not only refuses to see your value as a human, but it also ignores your value in your role in society as a pharmacy technician. And it would just as soon work you until you're dead and then look around and be like, you guys know that meme from Pulp Fiction with what's your boy from Saturday Night Fever? It's going to be like, well, who's going to replace you? That's because all it thought about was its next quarterly profit margin. That's it. The next quarterly profit margin. Not the fact that, oh, this quarter we had 20,000 people contract COVID, which is not good for the long-term viability of any company. All right, let's keep moving. Ruby Kenway says, how much time we got? Okay, I got 16 minutes. Ruby Kenway says, I work in administration at a college, and we recently started having students have to withdraw from the semester due to neurological issues they've developed after getting COVID. It is so sad. I don't think I have the energy to expound on that. Ruby, thank you for sharing that. Carol Funk said 100% what is right and just and good and noble and worthy. I don't care what you label me. I know what I'm fighting for is right, just, good, noble, and worthy. And if you want to call me a Marxist, fine, okay. If that gets you off. But what you're doing is you're saying that what Marxists advocate for is right, just, good, noble, and worthy. Because you know in yourself, see, this is the part of the church service where the preacher makes the appeal to the congregation. You know what I've said has pricked your heart. You know that there's no excuse for this society that makes trillions of dollars of wealth every year. Every year we make enough wealth to ensure everyone has a baseline of living. We honestly, especially if you live in the right area, can make sure that every person alive on this planet, every family, however they define family, which is none of my business, how you define your family, but every family unit can live at a baseline of this, which I always describe as just nicely framed. I just framed it. I put the flowers over there every day. I can't leave them there because my son would tear them up. I put the picture over there. This wall is empty because I moved the picture. I framed it. I took time to frame it. It's illusion. It is definitely not as posh as it looks. However posh or not posh it is, we make enough wealth in this society to make sure that every family unit, however you define your family, it's no business of mine how you define your family. We generate enough wealth so that everyone can have a baseline here. But why do we not do it? Because we want to see Jeff Bezos get his 16th mansion and his 14th mistress. I mean, bro, can you be happy with just one mansion and 2 mistresses? Can you do that for the sake of humanity? Or are we really willing to burn through human lives? Burn through humanity. Burn through our long-term viability. See, we haven't really faced the challenges that we have to face. We haven't faced anything yet. Climate change is going to be the first real check. It's going to be the first real chin check for humanity. But if we survive climate change, there are a million, no, strike that. There are an infinite number of calamities in this universe waiting to destroy us. And we can't figure out how to survive a goddamn pandemic when we've been surviving pandemics since mankind was big enough to go outside and breathe air. The ignorance of our politics has shackled us. Y'all saw me catch it. I'm doing better. The ignorance of our politics has shackled us to the point where we have regressed to the point where we can't even survive the most human of dilemmas, the most human of the great filters, if you want to talk about that. A pandemic. We have regressed so far that our politics has shackled us to the point where we have lost 210,000 brilliant possessors of human consciousness, lives, because of the ignorance of our politics. I'm telling you, we have a better chance of breaking through the light barrier than we do the ignorance of our politics. Let me flip that and say that in a different way. We can overcome the ignorance of our politics. The odds may be against us, but we have to. We effing have to. We absolutely have to, because if we don't, we're not talking about some distant future generation being the last generation of humanity. I think some of us are okay with living our lives today with no regard for the future of humanity, because we always think about it as something that's so far off. We think about the end of the world as being something so far off. Oh, that's something a future generation is going to do. It's something they're going to make a mistake on. There's something they're not going to do. It's probably going to be 1,000 years in the future. And we don't realize that the ignorance of our politics of today has the exact recipe for our destruction today. Today. Till this day. Who knows that meme? I'm sorry. Serious ass conversation. And I'm thinking about a boxing meme. And because we believe that we cannot destroy ourselves, we are currently saddled with the exact recipe necessary for our destruction. And I think I'm already over time. No, I got 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Listen, for those of you who hang out to the end, I admire you. I could not, personally, I'll be honest with you. Don't listen to me, because I'm glad that you're here. There's like no way in the world I think I could actually sit somewhere still for an hour and a half. But except the fact that I'm doing it. So I guess that's a lie. I guess I can sit somewhere an hour and a half if I'm doing the talking. Couple more super chats. Marva clarified. She said she was talking about Trump wants and needs. A major change is coming. Oh, he's running. He's like, okay, I get it. Excited to keep speaking truth. Thank you so much. Gaster Son's X just sent in $5 as a super chat. I appreciate you. Laura S. sent in $5 as a super chat. Cheryl Klingenberg sent in $5 as a super chat and said, thank you. It's the truth that brings people here. Infinite Content brought in some information for me. Only the 1918 pandemic, Civil War, and World War II have cost more American lives so suddenly. As Amy Goodman says from Democracy Now!, the true number of deaths is most likely higher. Let me give a couple of shout outs before we get out of here. Samoa's in Jimo. I know I massacred that. Please forgive me. Subscribe with Prime. Squish Monkey cheered with 100 bits. Thank you for that. 601 Robert subscribed with Prime. Missy Rise subscribe with Prime. Hey, Missy. I appreciate that. Again, if you want to support what I do here, it's going to expand. The reason you can see at this quality is because of my patrons. I bought this camera with the support of my patrons, patreon.com/BPD show. But the way you can support this program, this stream, this conversation, this friendship that we have, I mean, honestly, like, I recognize people's faces when I'm in public, and I recognize people's names, and I know when you're here again. And I definitely, my radar goes off when I don't see some of the same people, especially people who comment, right? I definitely notice, because these internet relationships and friendships and associations are so much more meaningful during COVID-19. So one way that you can help support this stream is if you have Prime, Amazon Prime. I've been talking about Jeff Bezos all night. Go to twitch.tv. Twitch.tv, you can use your current Prime account. It doesn't cost you any money. And they take $5 from your current Prime account and they send it to who you subscribe to. So go subscribe to me on Twitch with Prime, and it costs you nothing more as if you already have an Amazon Prime account. All right. Jamer said, Jamer Niece says, Ben, I gave up on labels. If anything, call me a humanist. Call me a humanist. I might be a Christian humanist, but I'm definitely a humanist. One more super chat, or two more. Our current politics promotes individual corporations, and this is from Rodney Fong. He said, our current politics, I lost it. Why is it moving so everywhere? Hang on, let me maximize this screen. Our current politics promotes individual corporations instead of the human community that supports the corporations, because the lobbyists have control of our government. Yeah, I know that man's telling the truth. Mirand DASF. Mirand ASF. Myra. Thank you for the super chat. So anyway, there's a couple of big picture things. I'm going to use my last 5 minutes here. If I don't get your super chat after this, or your comment after this, it's not because I don't appreciate you and want to recognize you. It's just that sometimes y'all know I get into the zone, and then I'll be like, good night. So if I miss your super chat after this, I will definitely recognize it on the stream tomorrow night, or your subscription, or whatever you do to support. I need to be honest with you. I kind of said it coyly, and I said it earlier in a way that was self-aggrandizing. When I talked about the young woman that I was long before I met my wife, years before I met my wife. There's this, how old was she? I was 25, she was 27. And she said she wanted to be my friend. And I told you that story kind of in a self-aggrandizing way to make me look cool. But there's a truth underneath that story that I think you should be aware of if you're not already aware of. The time that you allow me to talk to you is immensely powerful. Even if you don't like, even if you're here, even if you're listening to me and you hate me, you are allowing me to talk to you an hour and a half it's like 5 days a week, 7 days, 6 days a week. I might take a night off. That is inordinately powerful. And I don't think anybody really tells you this, even if you already know it. Now, right now, we only have 1,700 people watching, 1,763 watching across all the platforms. What people like Rush Limbaugh won't tell you, it's the same thing that people like Rachel Maddow doesn't have the time to tell you, or probably the concern to tell you. But because of the nature of what I do, I'm going to tell you. Every night when I sit down to talk to you, it is a piece of a much bigger picture that I use politics simply as an entryway to paint the bigger picture to you, for you. Now, some of you already know the bigger picture because you could just tell the different allusions that I make. And you're like, I recognize what he's doing. Others of you appreciate the camaraderie, the friendship, the laughter, the self-deprecation, all that. But I'm going to tell you the truth. If you keep listening to me, I would have shaped such a significant part of your life because you give me this kind of access to you. And I'm telling you this because it's the right thing to tell you. Joe Rogan is not going to tell you this because he probably doesn't even, he's just doing his thing. He doesn't really think about this. Rachel Maddow won't tell you this because, I mean, how's she going to do that in an hour show when she's trying to tell you about what Trump is doing? I don't think people are nefarious in not telling you this. I think they just are like just going about their business and don't have the time to just actually tell you that what they're doing is shaping you and molding you and influencing you. And after a while, you're going to start sounding like Joe Rogan if you listen to him an hour and a half every day. After a while, you're going to start sounding like Rachel Maddow if you start listening to her every single day. After a while, you're going to start repeating and saying things that sound like Ben Dixon if you come and hang out with me every day, just like I told that young woman. Well, she was older than me, but, you know, I told her, you keep hanging out with me. I know you just want to be friends, but if you keep hanging out with me as a friend, you're going to fall in her. She was going to fall in love with me. And she did. And she did for that period. And then, you know, the rest is not history because I made history with another woman. But that's besides the point. The point is this. You got to protect your mind. And you got to be aware that anybody who spends this kind of time with you, whether it be on radio, podcast, or TV, they're doing it, whether consciously or subconsciously, to influence you to do something or to believe something. I don't know how many of them are cognizant of what they're doing. I'm cognizant of what I'm doing. And the same reason I will just tell you this straight out is because I trust what I'm doing is rooted in what's good, what is just, what is noble, what is right, and what is worthy. But there are people who have the exact same skill set that I have, who are doing the same exact thing that I'm doing, who are doing it for their own personal profit. I have been doing this since before I made a dime, since it cost me money to do it. Because I have been apprehended by the very thing that I'm trying to apprehend, which is justice, what is noble, what is good, what is worthy, what is right. So I feel comfortable enough to tell you that you should be careful with allowing anybody, including me, no matter how many things I say that you agree with, be careful letting anybody occupy this much of your intellectual consciousness, because it is a powerful thing. Because no matter how much you want to be friends, if you spend this much time with me, we're going to be more than friends. You're going to end up subscribing. You're going to end up sending money. You're going to end up becoming a patron. You're going to end up being tied to, like, if I do something wrong in 5 years, if it comes out that I got like 18 mistresses like Jeff Bezos, then you're going to be emotionally attached because we've spent so much time together. So I just want you to be cognizant of the fact. I want you to know that I know that this time that you spend with me is precious. And you need to make sure that you are fully aware of what you are giving me. This is why when people say, Ben, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you, because the space that you are affording me is your most valuable resource. There is nothing more powerful than what goes on between your ears, nothing. And you're giving it to me for damn near an hour and a half every damn night. I respect that, and I honor that enough to admit to you that you should honestly take into consideration how much time you give anybody, whether it be some Joe Blow in a nice living room with some roses framed up, finally got a shirt that fits him pretty decently, cat on the internet, or somebody an hour every night on MSNBC, or somebody 2 hours every day on a podcast, or somebody 3 hours every day on a talk radio show, Rush Limbaugh. Because before long, you're going to start sounding like whoever you listen to every single day. And if you are okay with, in a year, you sounding just like me, then fine. But if you just want to be friends, I would suggest, like I suggested to that young lady many, many years ago, don't hang out with me, because we can't just be friends. That's not what I do. That's not what I do. I am going through a pedagogy in my mind. I don't have anything written down. I don't have anything. I don't have a master plan. I just know that we got to get from this abysmal society that we have with some glimmering hopes. There's some glimmering good things about it, but we are pretty abysmal. I know we got to get from here to where we can survive in perpetuity. And I'm just running my mouth. So, take it with a grain of salt. But y'all be careful giving people this much time. And I respect you enough to say that. Okay? Wow, the numbers went up. Okay. 1745. Or no, we went down by whatever. I taught math, but I'm not good at math. Good night, everybody. Any super chat that I missed, I love you, and I'm going to give you a shout out on the next stream. Take care, everybody.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show. If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.